Alright, here we are on Greece, spawning on the A side in the USS Iowa. The USS Iowa, I only have like 7 games in, and I think it's my favorite battleship so far in my playing in World of Warships. And there are reasons for it. First of all, just look at it. Maybe it's just me, but it's just a beautiful ship in my opinion. It's got all the right curves in all the right places, and it's beautiful. It has 9 406mm guns that do a whopping 13k per shell for one Citadel. Now with my build, they're doing about 14k per Citadel, so they do a lot of damage. The American Heavy AP is very good. It does big things. Now, the USS Iowa is a reasonably accurate ship. It has a 1.9-ish shell grouping with my build. It starts out at 1.8, which is reasonable. Commanders do big things. They do big things. Also, the Iowa has access to a exclusive module to the U.S. battleships at higher tiers, the artillery plotter room, which makes your dispersion better by 10%, and it's very good. You should use it if you're in an American battleship. And as you can see, we want this destroyer to help us because we think he's AFK, and he shows up, and that is great. Without him, we probably would not have done what we did. Now, we're going to start turning in a little bit here so we're not fully broadside to people on our flank, so we do not just get demolished by them. You got to be expecting, even if you're not spotted yet, you probably will be soon. And we get a good look at this Shimanto, and we kind of just miss it. We should have waited for him to complete his turn, and we take this shot too far in front, wrong place. We still get just one Citadel. Found his mark. 13,866 damage. Just beautiful. You love to see it. This American AP packs a punch, especially out of the Iowa. And we want to get one more shot, but sadly we can't. Now, as you can see, I am taking shots at people going towards the middle flank. And that's because I don't have anybody to shoot at myself. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is get broadsides of people trying to go to a different flank. And it's not a bad idea. Here we get a good broadside look at the Colorado. And get a good 15k salvo. Sadly, no Citadels, but it is okay. Now you can see that there is a destroyer coming in. We're not very scared. We've got some islands covering us, but we are going to be turning and slowing down. And here, oh my gosh, I did not know what this Cleveland was doing. But this is textbook not what you do in front of an Iowa. Just beautiful dispersion, beautiful shell grouping.
Oh my
and he's gone. 10 kilometers, that is what will happen and should happen. Trying to turn out a little bit here, be a little bit angled. This Colorado. I'm not very scared of him, but probably should have been more careful with him. He's got some decent weaponry, but I feel like if I was in this Colorado, I in the Iowa would have been dead. As you can see, there's the torpedoes. They missed us. We won't be able to shoot with the Akatsuki. Sadly, we keep shooting when the destroyers are not spotted, so we do not. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. This is kind of where we kind of start our, I guess, slightest of screw-ups. We kind of slow down here and trying to back up as we get a good look at this Atlantico. Decent dispersion and grouping. Maybe we get something, and yeah, decent salvo. What I should have done is just gone all the way around this island, used my speed to my advantage, but I just kind of sat here. But by doing this, I did my job. I took a beating. I did damage. I just think that if I went around the island, I would have gotten some better angles at some of these ships. and possibly had more impact on this game, but can't complain. Another good salvo on that Atlantico, and still sadly no Citadels, but it is pretty far range. Here's the Colorado. He's doing a decent job not being completely broadside, but this American AP just kind of doesn't care about that. Now, I am pretty broadside to him, but like I said, I'm just not very scared of a Colorado. Even though it has a decent armament with 8 ginormous American AP filled guns, the Colorado is just simply not as good as its Tier 7 counterpart, the Iowa. Now, we dodged more torpedoes by just reversing. I tried to reverse here so I could turn left and not have to go around the island, but I did not realize how slow this thing was in getting into reverse. Here we take a decent salvo from the Colorado, but we're angled, we don't get citadeled, and it's also the Colorado, so only 8 guns. It's just not that scary. Now, here's the high caliber, 103,000 damage. This is definitely not the best game in the Iowa. I do get a decent amount of damage, and I do my job, and that's all you can ask for in a battleship. Here's some more torpedoes. These destroyers have just been having fun and missing. We do take 1 here, though. Yeah, it's fine. We've stopped the flooding. We're not really worried about getting any more flooding or fires, because we did kill that Cleveland. Here we get a decent-looking salvo on this Atlantico. Sadly, 1 pin. But that's the game. That's why we play it. Yeah. Now, we were decently angled. Don't get too demolished on that one, but he did get a decent chunk. Now, thankfully, we have some okay heals in the Iowa, and we are just durable. I mean, she is durable. Here we aim high for this Colorado because we want to hit a superstructure. When his target's angled like that, you shouldn't be aiming for the belt. It's just going to bounce. You get a decent 2 pins. Can't really complain about that. And now we're trying to go around the island, which is what we should have done way earlier. It's not really going to cost us, but we are just kind of useless here for a good minute. Now, as you can see, we're going about 21 knots here, but that is when we're turning. Full turning, we're going 21 knots. And that is the Colorado's max speed. Now, I definitely recommend playing the American battleship line, the main battleship line, but I will admit, this is the highlight of it. The Iowa is the highlight, and sadly, the Colorado, the New Mexico, the Tier 5 and 6 ships aren't like this. They're just not as good, and they're harder to play, I will admit. But it will teach you a lot about how to play battleships by yourself as we get a good salvo, aiming at the superstructure, getting 4 pins, getting our first kill. And then, of course, the Akatsuki shows up right after we take our salvo. And honestly, I feel like he may or may not be dev struck here if I had been reloaded. Now, we do get a shot, but it's just we weren't able to lead him enough because the island was there. So we only get 2 pins, which actually that's a decent amount of damage on a destroyer, I will admit. Alright, our team, I thought this game was going to be a little more interesting. I thought our team was not going to have demolished the other sides like this earlier in the game, but they did their job, and you cannot complain about that. Alright, nothing's really happening here. Akatsuki is going to do the smart thing and not push out from that island. We were never really worried about his torpedoes because we were going to be turning. And it's doubtful that he was going to be able to get torpedoes on target. And here's the Atlantico, probably AFK, I think. He's just sitting out there. We only have 1 gun, the rear turret of Justice, and it will not do justice things. That is max range. I mean, the dispersion is not the ship's strong suit. I will admit, as we do get a okay salvo, still no citadels. What's up with that? I don't think the Atlantico's that well armored, but take a very hopeful shot at the Sakatsuki. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much wraps up this game. The Atlantico's AFK. Akatsuki's very low health. We have all caps. There's nothing we can do to lose this, essentially. Once again, weren't the most worried about those torpedoes because we were not going very fast and we're just speeding up. And we know his aiming is based on what we were doing before, not what we're doing now. So you gotta take that into account when trying to dodge torpedoes. Now, as you can see, we're at a good 136,000 damage dealt. And we get the Atlantico back, and right as we shoot, he gets got. Now, I think for the rest of this, I'm just going to speed it up and skip to the end because nothing good happens. I don't think we kill the destroyer, and the game ends before the battleship can die. So, yeah. Thanks for watching my Iowa showcase. Wow. Good team.